everyone. Now that a couple of days have passed, I calmed down a little bit and I feel like I'm in the right emotional state to do a detailed reading. The reason why I want to do this is because what happened was about 8 hours before the results were announced, I had a really bad feeling. Things weren't looking right either. And I had to run somewhere. I had a doctor's follow-up appointment I had to go to, but I quickly pulled a couple of cards and I asked who was going to be the winner. The response was that things were going to turn out in Kamala's favor. But on the bottom of the deck, there was a card that represented Trump and told me that he was going to win. So obviously, I was very confused by that. Under that card that was on the bottom of the deck, there was a tower. At first, I thought that this just meant that things can still go either way and nothing is really decided yet. But then I had this feeling that it actually was trying to tell me that Trump was going to win, but then something was going to happen. There's going to be a tower moment for Trump that's going to lead to things turning out in Kamala's favor. I also went on the internet and I looked at a couple of readers' videos about this, and they also got similar cards than me. Maybe not all of them were the exact same cards, but very similar cards, and they were also saying similar things. They all projected Kamala as the winner. Hours later, when I got back, I tried to do a detailed reading, but I was not in the right emotional state to do a reading, and it was very confusing. The cards reassured me that things were going to turn out well. They were going to take a positive turn, but unfortunately they were also telling me something like it wasn't going to be how we imagined. It was going to be a slow process, and there was going to be economical hardship, suffering, and conflict before things could take a positive turn. Not exactly what I wanted to hear, but now that I'm in a better emotional state, let's see what details can the cards give me, what the cards were exactly trying to tell me. The first two cards are telling me to listen to my intuition and the divine guidance, the messages that I received. So when I did my mini reading, and also those readers whose videos I looked at who had similar messages and similar cards than I, they weren't wrong. Those messages weren't incorrect. Our intuition wasn't incorrect. This is telling us to listen to our intuition and the messages we receive because they are not lying to us. Don't abandon, don't walk away from your intuition. Don't start doubting yourself, and don't abandon hope. Angels, Holy Spirit in heaven, can you give me details about that tower? What does that tower card mean for Trump? What's going to happen to him? Because the tower was under the card that represented Trump, not under the cards that we're talking about Kamala. So what is going to happen to him? What is this tower about? This man feels like he's in his power, like he made it. The Emperor. He's ready to make decisions, he feels very confident, he's ready to take action. But then there's the Fool card upside down. This card in the upright is about a new beginning, going on a new adventure. The beginning of something new, but it's upside down. What is this about, Angels, Holy Spirit in heaven? Why is the Fool card upside down? What I'm getting is people who voted for him, the majority of people who voted for him, they really believed that they were voting for an honest man with a clear conscience, someone who is fair, someone who respects the law, someone who is responsible and is a good businessman. But they are going to be disappointed. They are going to be heartbroken because the truth will come out. They were blindsided. They were tempted to vote for him. Some of them were tempted by the promise of financial gains. Some of them just put this person on a pedestal and didn't want to see him for what he was. Some of them voted for him solely for religious reasons, but they definitely glorified this person. Some of them were scared into voting for him. They kind of made this decision as a result of fear-mongering. But the veil is going to be lifted. This isn't a permanent thing. This illusion that they have about this person is not going to last. And then there is the Queen of Cups on the bottom of the deck, a woman who's honest, devoted, and fair. What are you trying to tell me about this Queen of Cups, angels, Holy Spirit in heaven? Is the Tower going to lead to the victory of this Queen of Cups? And if so, how? Yeah, this Queen of Cups is a generous person, a devoted servant of the people, a generous person, a compassionate person. And then there's the Knight of Cups. Some kind of good news is gonna come in. So don't give up all hope, people, because this isn't the end. You might feel like all is lost, good was defeated by evil, but this isn't the end of the story. There's going to be an ending here. Angels, Holy Spirit in heaven, can you give me any details? There is going to be a happy ending, a prosperous new beginning. But it's going to be a long process. It's not going to happen, unfortunately, as fast as we would hope. It's going to require a lot of hard work and prayers. This figure on this card is praying. Before this prosperity, this happy ending can arrive, a lot of things are going to have to happen. There's going to be economical hardship, conflict, struggles. People need to see it for themselves, need to experience it for themselves. These people who voted for him need to be awakened and see it for themselves who he is. This veil needs to be lifted before they can understand why so many people were against him. And it's going to be a long process. As I mentioned, we are going to have to go through some hardship before this can happen. But this has to happen. We have to go through all that because otherwise him and people like him are just going to keep coming and coming, and people are going to keep believing their lies. We have to have this bad experience so more people understand why him and people like him are bad for the country. And not just the country, but the whole world as well. We are talking about a country whose economy affects the economy of the rest of the world. So before things can take a positive turn, we have to go through this hardship. Because otherwise, the people who voted for him will never learn, and they are going to keep making bad decisions like this. And even if this emperor here is gone, that's what they view it as. He's not really an emperor. That's how he views himself as well. But once he's gone, there are going to be others who want to take his place. They will think that, oh, if he could do it, I can do it. And they will just take pages out of his playbook and fool these people again. So we have to go through these negative experiences so these people learn for once and for all. So this doesn't keep happening every time there is an election. Because it's just never ending. This is the third election now that was very stressful and there was a lot at stake. It was unlike any other election at least in my lifetime. So this cannot keep happening every 4 years. Something has to change. That's why we are going to have to go through all these negative experiences, because the majority of people learn from experience. They don't learn because they open a history book and then they learn from that. No, they learn from experience. That's why we are on this planet, because we had to come here to learn from experience. That's how we can really evolve and grow spiritually, grow into a better human being. But our wishes and dreams are going to come true. Things are going to take a positive turn. As I mentioned, unfortunately, it's going to be a slow process, and we are going to have to go through hardship before that can happen. So that's the bad news, that it's not going to be a quick process. But our wishes, our dreams are going to come true. Good news is going to come. So if you've been having negative feelings like, oh, evil always wins, God or the universe has abandoned us, you want to give up hope, you lost hope in humanity, that's not really the case. We as a collective just have to learn some lessons. We have to learn these lessons so the same cycle can stop repeating itself. But there is going to be order. The law will prevail. Well, eventually anyway. Abundance is going to come in once we learn these lessons as a collective. People are going to have to learn to let go of greed. Not to be governed by the almighty dollar. Of course, it's important because we live in this material world, in the 3D world, but it is not the most important thing. It's more important to do what's the best for humanity, to do the honest thing, the right thing. Once we learn these lessons, there is going to be happiness and celebration here. We are going to get another chance at happiness. So right now you might feel trapped, like this decision was made for you and there's nothing you can do about it. You're just stuck with this unfavorable outcome for the next few years. There is going to be abuse of power, corruption, treason, but then things will kind of balance out. So we just have to let go right now. Just keep in mind that this isn't going to last forever. It is gonna come to an end. And maybe things won't change as fast as we would like, but something good will come out of it. There will be a lot of people who will learn a lesson for once and for all, a much needed lesson. So we don't have to keep repeating this cycle over and over again. Okay. As I said, we are going to have to go through some hardship before that can happen. But the struggles are going to come to an end. It's not going to be pleasant. It's not going to be easy. And yeah, there is going to be some trickery, some corruption here. But good will win. Love will win. There is going to be a happy ending. All we can do right now is let go, let things unfold, and trust that things will turn out eventually in our favor. Okay? I wish I could have delivered to you a more positive message. I know people are hoping that something will happen before January and he won't even take his seat on this throne like a king, like this emperor here, but unfortunately that's not what I'm getting. This is going to be a slower process than that. And if that happened, these people who keep voting for him would never learn the lesson. They would just keep doing it over and over again. And even if he wasn't in the picture anymore, someone like him would take his place and they would keep voting for that person. Something about his personality traits attract these people. I mean, you don't have to be a psychologist, a therapist, to understand that he has a narcissistic personality disorder, because it's not something that you can test for. It's not like you can take a blood test and then it's either positive or negative. It's something you diagnose by symptoms. So if you know someone, if you grew up with someone or lived with someone who has narcissistic personality disorder, and you are aware of it, you're knowledgeable on this topic, then you recognize the signs, you recognize the symptoms. The one thing these people are really good at is being popular, bullshitting people into liking them. I have never met a narcissist who wasn't extremely popular. Being popular is very important to them. They can say the dumbest things and people just agree with them. I don't know what it is, how they do that, but I watched narcissists sit in the middle of a group making the most ridiculous statements and people just agree with them, as opposed to just thinking for themselves, looking into the claim that this person had just made. I don't know how they do it. They are very convincing, and usually there isn't much knowledge behind their BS. So these people are just very good at surrounding themselves with a group of flying monkeys who do their little biddings for them, a bunch of enablers who don't believe people who speak up against them, who just blindly follow them. And all the narcissists in the world kind of support each other. They look up to each other because seeing another narcissist succeed is proof to them that there's nothing wrong with them. So there isn't shortage of these type of people in the world. Certain things are just going to have to happen so these people finally wake up and see for themselves, experience on their own skin what's going on. Okay, so yeah, this is kind of a bad news, good news type of situation. But know this, justice will prevail. Things will turn out in our favor and victory is going to arrive. It's going to be a slow process. It's going to feel like we are stuck in a terrible situation. But then there's going to be a tower. And again, freedom and justice, the right decision is going to be made. Things will come to light. Alright, that's all I have for you guys. Stay strong. It gets darker before the dawn will finally break. The sun will finally come up. Okay, thank you for watching. Take care, everyone. Bye.